sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. I'm going to share a story with you. It's a personal story, and it's one that has to do with commitment. And so the lesson I want you to take from this is the question I want you to ask yourself is, are you really, truly, 100% committed to your own success? About, I don't know, it's embarrassing to admit, but 25 years ago or so, I was in the commercial real estate business, and I was a mediocre producer at best. I never crushed in the commercial real estate business. And it's funny, there's a guy who started about within a month of me, and we were friends. And in 2 or 3 years, he was, making $300,000-$500,000 a year, and I was messing around in the $75,000 to $150,000 a year mode, and sometimes a little bit more, but often less, right? And we were riding the beach together. There was a retreat for our firm down at the beach, and we rode down there together, we're buddies. And I said, Ben, why is it that why do you think you're so much more successful than me? What is it in you that I don't seem to have in me? And Ben said, do you really want to know? I said, yeah. He said, Walker, you're not committed. He said, I got in this business, and he said, I didn't have much money. He said, I was hoping to move my family out of a double-wide mobile home. And he said, so my first year I did that, and we bought a house. And he said, and now, he said, I'm sending my kids to private school, and I'm doing these different things. And he said, here's the deal. He said, if I screw up, if I don't make this money, if I don't invest and do it the right way, I may have to go back to the mobile home. He said, I don't want to do that. He said, Walker, I want to be able to build a big ass house on a piece of property that I own out in the country, and that's where I want to raise my family. And I want to have a pond, and I want to buy what I want to buy. I want to have investments. I was like, holy shit. And he said, here's the thing. Remember, if I fail, I've got no backstop. He said, don't take this the wrong way. He said, but something happens to you, your dad will take care of you. And he said, what I hear you doing all the time is talking to people wondering, hey, is there a better deal out there for me? Is there some other place that I could go that this wouldn't be so hard or might be easier, where I could have a better time? And he said, you're not committed. He said, once you commit, he said, then you'll be successful. I got to be honest, it pissed me off. How dare he say I wasn't committed? I didn't say anything out loud, but I kind of brewed on it and brewed on it and brewed on it. And I realized he was right. And the funny thing was, a number of years later, I found an opportunity to get in the training business. And I knew that was something I could be passionate about, and I could be good, because I had gotten some, good training myself. And I said, man, I'd love to share this with the world. So I jumped into that business, and I did very well. But then I realized that I wanted to have more control of my own stuff. I'm not very good at working for somebody else. And so I quit, and I started my own thing. And it was scary, and we had a really rough time financially and otherwise. And then I started to dig out, right? And I had this vision of where I wanted to go, but I'd gotten to a certain level, and I'd been there for 6 or 8 months, and I said, I got to fix this. And so I called a coach, a guy that I'd followed on Twitter. We had a great conversation, but I wasn't ready to pull the trigger. And I called him back about a month later, and we had this further conversation. And he said, why are you not doing better? And I gave him several reasons, excuses, right? You know what he said to me? He said, I'm not going to work with you because you're not fucking committed. And he hung up the phone. I was like, what the hell? And what I realized, once again, he was right. I was wallowing in my own misery. I wasn't willing to do the things to get out of the hole that I'd created for me and my family. And it made me ashamed. I said, you know what? This sucks. I'm going to fix it. So I called him back and said, I'm committed. He said, no, you're not. And I said, yes, I am. And I said, I don't care how much it costs to work with you. I don't know what the number is. I don't care what it costs. I don't have any money anyway. I'm going to go borrow it. Because what I know is if I can learn what you know, it'll pay me back 1,000 times. He gave me the number. I said, great. Went to the bank, borrowed the money, came back. And you know what? I was committed. And he called me and asked me to do some stuff. I was like, shit, I don't know. And he said, fuck you. So I did it. I stayed up damn near all night one night getting the stuff together that he asked me to get together because I knew that was my ticket out. So roll forward. I'm doing well. Things are good. I've dug out of the hole. Several years have gone by. I'm running my business. And I get approached by a guy that I used to work with a long time ago, John Palumbo. Great dude, very smart. We started talking about collaborating. We talked about one of the programs that I have that at the time was kind of stalling. And he said, maybe I can help you with that one. And I said, okay, tell me more. And he goes, clearly you aren't committed to fixing and growing that program. Maybe that's something I can commit to. Boom. Once again, hit me right between the eyes. I just wasn't committed, right? And you can't be committed to everything. But I thought about it. So what are the 5 keys? I came up with 5. So what does commitment look like? What is commitment? And how do you know you have it? And what are the things you can work on? Because I clearly have to work on it myself all the time, right? And what am I committed to? Because that's where you'll spend the time. Am I committed to mediocrity? If that's the case, I'm going to mail it in. I can't afford mediocrity. And I don't want to be mediocre. I can always be better and I want to be better. I don't want to get to the end of my life and go, shit, man, you mailed it in. Okay, so here are 5 things I came up with that show commitment. Consistency. Number 1, consistency. Are you doing the things on a regular basis that will help you move towards your goal, right? Towards your success. Let's just talk about sales, right? Because that's what we're talking about here. Are you consistently prospecting for new ideal business? I don't mean letting the phone ring to you. I mean reaching out to those clients, those prospects that you want to do business with, that need to know you exist. Are you consistently asking your better clients, your dear clients, for referrals, introductions, right? Are you using your network to grow your business and to help more people? Consistently, every day, every week, every month, right? Do you have that blocked off? Do you know that you're going to do it? Number 2, are you willing to sacrifice? Yes, the S word, sacrifice, right? What do you have to give up to get what you want? We all have to give up something, right? I'm certainly going to have to give up my comfort zone. I'm certainly going to have to make myself uncomfortable on a regular basis. I'm going to have to give up longer lunches. I'm going to have to give up, I'm going to have to invest a bunch of my own money back in my business to get where I want to go. I'm not going to be, I'll be an overnight success tomorrow, and then the next day I'm whacked back in the face, right? I've got to invest. I got to sacrifice money that I could take out now to invest in my business because I'm committed to its growth and committed to my own success. I'm committed to do the hard shit, the sacrifices, embarrassing myself, right? Or fear of embarrassing myself. What are you willing to sacrifice for your own success? Now, a lot of entrepreneurs have what they're willing to sacrifice is their marriage, right? You notice a lot of these guys, a lot of folks are willing to work themselves and that their marriage is willing to sacrifice. Not me. Not willing to do that. Not willing to sacrifice relationship with my children. right? Because that to me is part of success, is having that relationship with my wife and my kids, right? So maybe some of my revenue is sacrificed because I'd rather be committed to my wife and my children as part of my success, right? Number 3 is, are you open to feedback? If you're committed to your success, you've got to be open to other people's ideas. You've got to be open to their ideas of course correction. All right. Are you open to that? Because if we're just bullheaded and don't take any advice, right, you're not going to get where you want to go. So many people have done things that we're trying to do before us. They've made it. They've already cleared the path. They know, they've written about it. They can talk to you about it. There are books about it. There are podcasts about it. How can you learn from other people? Next, are you thinking long term? The deal with commitment is, right, you're going to have shitty days, shitty weeks, shitty months. Sometimes, I speak from experience, sometimes they're shitty years. You're going to get your ass kicked, right? And when you're in the middle of it, it sucks. I mean, there are times I remember being at home in my rental house because I had to sell our big custom house because of the commitment I made to my business, right? And I was so freaking depressed because of what had happened and where I was, and it sucked, right? But I had to realize the reason I did that was not for the short term. The reason I did that was for 5, 10, 15 years down the road, where I've built something that's meaningful to me and to other people, that's taking care of my family, and I hope making a difference in other people's lives, right? Making a tremendous difference in other people's lives. That's what kept me going. That's what keeps me going, right? Is this idea of building something that can be a legacy, that can make a difference in other people's lives, can help course correct people, right? To make a huge difference in their lives. And at the same time, do that for me. Are you thinking long term or just for today? If you're thinking just for today or just this week, you're going to get kicked in the freaking teeth and you're going to say, fuck this, I quit. The last piece is adaptability. The world changes every night. The world changes all the time, right? You may have an idea and a plan to move forward doing certain things, and here's how it's going to work, and here's what your plan is, and here's what you're going to do every day. But what you recognize is that you're going to have to adapt. Shit changes, right? Situations in your life change. Situations in the world change. Situations in your industry change. Are you willing to adapt when a better idea comes along? Are you open to that? If you're not open to that, once again, you're limiting the success that can happen, right? There's so much we can learn, but we have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to change. Are you willing to do that? So here are the 5 things. Let me remind you one more time. 5 things for commitment. Consistently doing what it takes to be successful. Number 2, willing to sacrifice. Number 3, being open to feedback. Number 4, long-term thinking, vision, why you'll do this. The last is adaptability, willing to make changes as you see necessary. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Check your commitment. Maybe none of your friends are gutsy enough to tell you that they don't think you're committed, and that's why you're not doing as well, whatever your definition of success is, as you could be. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you want to talk about how you can get some feedback to help you grow your business, help you grow your company, help you make more money, live a better life, I'm happy to have a conversation. Maybe I can help.
Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you haven't already, please take 1 minute to write a quick review for the show. It really does make a huge difference. Also, subscribe to the show and please forward this episode to somebody else who needs to hear it. As a bonus for listening, I'm going to give you access to a free mini course, 7 expensive sales mistakes you're making and what you can do about it. Go to www.7salesmistakes.com and get access to the free mini course. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the OBS Sales School podcast.